Just yesterday, my daughter slammed the door in my face and told me to get out of my own wife's house, all because I refused to hand over $6.60 in change. I left with nothing but my pride. I redrew and planned. Welcome to part 2 of this story. Before we continue, thank you so much for your support. Every like, comment, and view means the world to us. We're on a mission to reach our first 1,000 subscribers, and we'd love for you to be part of that journey. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and let's grow together. Now, let's proceed. When I told her I'd call back in an hour, it wasn't because I needed time to decide whether to help. I already knew she was walking into my home. The real decision was what kind of lesson she was going to leave with. One that would sting for a few days, or one she would remember every time she signed her name for the rest of her life. This wasn't about $6.60 anymore. That money was pocket change. What wasn't pocket change was the way she looked me in the eye yesterday and told me I couldn't stay in my wife's house. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew those words would cut, and she enjoyed saying them. If she thought I was going to hand her a bed now without reminding her of that moment, she had no idea who she was dealing with. When I called her back, I kept my voice calm. "You can come," I said, "but you're going to follow my rules. If you break them, you leave." Simple as that. She agreed too quickly, which told me she wasn't listening. She just wanted to get in. Good. That made my plan easier. She arrived with a suitcase and a tote bag, looking tired but still holding herself like she was entitled to whatever I was about to give her. I didn't smile when I let her in. "Spare rooms down the hall," I said flatly. "Bathrooms across from it. Food's in the kitchen. You eat what's here or buy your own. No drama. No disrespect." She nodded, like she was humoring me, but I caught the faint eye roll she thought I wouldn't notice. For a few days, I kept things simple. I didn't ask questions about her mother, didn't dig for details about the fight that sent her running. I just let her settle in, eat my food, and sleep under my roof. She thought I was being distant out of pettiness. The truth was, I was building space for the trap to close at the right time. On the 4th day, I made my move. I told her I wanted to help her find a place of her own so she wouldn't have to bounce between homes. Her eyes lit up immediately. I said I knew someone in real estate who could set her up. She didn't even hesitate. She jumped at the offer. I called my friend that afternoon, a man who owed me favors from years back. We met in private and I told him exactly what I wanted. Draw up a contract that looked like a property transfer but was really a long-term lease. 20 years. Non-breakable. Rent starting modest, but climbing steadily every 5 years. Ironclad clauses. Miss 3 payments and she forfeits the right to stay. Early termination? Only if the entire balance for the remainder of the lease is paid up front. He grinned. That's going to ruin her if she's careless. That's the point, I said. 2 days later, I told her the deal was ready. We went to the lawyer's office together. She didn't even glance at the paperwork before signing. She was too busy imagining how she'd decorate her new place. I signed too, playing the part of the proud father making a generous gesture. She thanked me, hugged me, told me she'd make me proud. I smiled and told her I believed her. She moved in that week, posted all over social media about her new home and how independence feels amazing. Friends congratulated her, liked her photos, told her she was lucky. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The paper she signed would do all the talking soon. The first invoice arrived a month later. Rent due, payable to me. I could almost hear the blood drain from her face when she called me. "Dad, why is there rent on my new house? You said you were giving it to me." I kept my voice steady. "I never said I was giving you a house. I said I'd help you get a place to live. You signed the lease. That's your home now, as long as you pay." "This is insane. I can't afford this," she snapped. "You can't afford to disrespect the man who gave you a home either. But that didn't stop you, did it?" I said, "You told me to leave your mother's house over $6.60. Now you get to live with a different number every month for the next 20 years. She went silent. I could hear her breathing hard, fighting back whatever she wanted to say. I didn't let her speak first. This isn't revenge, it's a reality check. You've never had to work to keep a roof over your head. Now you will. And if you think I'll tear up that contract out of guilt, think again. The months that followed were exactly what I expected. She struggled, took extra shifts, sold things she thought she'd never part with. Friends who once praised her independence drifted away when they realized her home was a rental with her father as the landlord. Every payment she made was a reminder of that one day she pushed me out of my own wife's house. And every time she tried to hint at renegotiating, I gave the same answer. The lease is legal. You signed it. You keep it. 1 year in, she tried a different approach. Dad, I've been thinking, maybe we could just forget the whole thing? I've learned my lesson. I shook my head. Lessons aren't learned in 12 months. They're learned in years. You've got 19 more. She called me cruel. I didn't argue. Sometimes cruelty is the only language people understand when they've ignored every softer word. That lease became the shadow over her life. She couldn't just pack up and leave. Breaking it meant paying me every remaining cent for the full 20 years. And because her credit was tied to it, missing payments wasn't an option unless she wanted the banks to bury her in debt. It was the kind of bind you don't escape from without remembering exactly how you got there. And I made sure she remembered. Every rent receipt had a note at the bottom. Respect is worth more than coins. Years from now, when she looks back, she won't remember the exact figure on those invoices. She'll remember the day she told her father to leave his own home over $6.60, and how that moment cost her 20 years of her life. That's not just revenge. That's interest. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. Your support means the world to us.